Like and subscribe right now, or you're gonna have terrible luck for the next week.
You don't want any of the creatures that lived millions of years ago to turn up in your backyard. Most of the creatures that existed at the time were freakishly huge, toothy, and absolutely terrifying monstrous beasts. Well, there were bugs too, but you'd have to use a tennis racket or something bigger to swat them. That was not a good time for prey to be alive. These are the 10 absolutely terrifying prehistoric creatures that actually existed.
Number 10. MEGATHERIUM, elephant-sized sloth. With a name that translates to Great Beast, you bet MEGATHERIUM was no ordinary ground sloth. These were scary, elephant-sized sloths that ruled the prehistoric Amazon for some 5.3 million years. It is arguably one of the most famous of the giant mammals that once roamed this planet after the decline of the dinosaurs. Sure, a slow, gentle creature that won't attack anyone unprovoked doesn't sound like the kind of terrifying prehistoric creature we promised, but standing at 13 feet tall and weighing up to 4 tons, which, by the way, is 10 times the size of a modern sloth, this prehistoric giant was not one to be trifled with. It is said that their temperament changed to apex aggressors when they were around arthropods. It's like they had received an ephemeral attack boost upon encountering any insect, and they would not hesitate to attack any tame or wild herbivore, as well as any humans who dared cross their path. Interestingly, fossil remains of this prehistoric giant sloth revealed spear and arrow cut marks on them, suggesting that our ancestors likely snacked on them to survive, as recently as 10,000 years ago. Number 9. ARCTODUS SMILUS, gigantic bear. Forget black bears and grizzly bears, their gigantic relatives that lived and hunted about 2 million years ago were the baddest meat eaters around at the time. And boy, you don't even want to imagine what an encounter with this giant bear would have looked like. Scientifically known as ARCTODUS SMILUS, and often commonly referred to as giant short-faced bears, owing to the shape of their faces, these were the largest species of bear to have ever lived on the planet. They were twice as huge as the largest polar bears in record history, reaching a mind-boggling height of 12 feet tall when standing on their hind limbs. It's believed that these ancient bears inhabited North America until as recently as 11,000 years ago. It's a good thing they went extinct, for these gigantic ancient bears were not opportunistic omnivores like their modern-day relatives. While earlier studies had indicated that they were omnivores, a more recent chemical analysis of their bones revealed that the ancient bears had quite the appetite for meat, and that they fed on meat almost exclusively, munching about 20 kilos of meat daily. You don't want to find out if they had a thing for human meat. Number 8. TITANOBOA-SUPER serpent. The largest snakes today are barely half the size of the prehistoric monster snakes that once slithered around the swampy jungles of South America 60 million years ago. In fact, being the largest snakes to ever exist, titanoboas are believed to have finished off some of the dinosaurs that survived the mass extinction event. They were real monstrous, hissing bad boys that grew up to 50 feet long and weighed about 2.5 tons. Researchers believe that this ancient super snake was a distant relative to the boa constrictor and the anaconda. But from the sheer size of it, this super-duper uber serpent would have made the anaconda look like the garter snakes commonly found around the yard. Being a constrictor snake, Titanoboa killed its prey by crushing them with a constriction force of 400 pounds per square inch. It was a deadly embrace that even the largest prey would not have endured. And to imagine that Titanoboa was able to swallow whole giant crocs and alligators, now that is a real-life nightmare. Number 7. Andrewsarchus, scary wolf hyena? Andrewsarchus was the largest land-based mammalian carnivore ever to live on the planet. This large, heavy-built, wolf-like mammal lived about 45 million years ago. It's estimated to have been about 6 feet tall at the shoulder and over 12 feet long, and generally believed to have been the largest terrestrial mammal carnivore of all time. It walked on 4 short legs and had a long body, a long tail, and feet with hooved toes. It also had a long snout with large, sharp teeth and flat cheek teeth that may have been used to crush bones. It could bite with a force of over 1 ton, twice that of a modern-day tiger, which has the strongest bite of any terrestrial mammal alive today. Andrewsarchus is only known from a single fossilized skull, and as such, not so much is known about this creature, more so its exact time range. And whether it was an active predator like a wolf or a large scavenger like the hyena is open to debate. But one thing is for certain, it was a creature you wouldn't want to come across, not even in your wildest dreams. Number 6. Arthropleura-Giant millipede. Measuring about 8 feet long and 1.5 feet wide, these millipede-like creatures were the biggest known land-dwelling invertebrates to have scuttled around on the Earth. Scientists believe that the arthropods that lived about 300 million years ago could have been bigger than most of the vertebrates of the time, contrary to what is the case today. One comforting thought, however, is that most of the prehistoric giant bugs probably weren't predators, and the giant millipede especially snacked on decomposing organic matter like their modern counterparts. But still, it's definitely not something you'd want to see crawling under your bed, or around the woods when you're out for a hike. Fossil evidence has shown that Arthropleura could move and maneuver quickly, undulating hundreds of legs in rhythm to nauseate and disturb anyone watching. More reason why you don't want these creepy creatures in your vicinity. Number 5. PHORUSRHACIDAE, terror birds. Birds so deadly and frightening that they were named after fear itself, the terror birds. And these birds didn't even fly. Terror birds, which got as big as 10 feet tall, occupied the top tier of their food chain. They had massive, razor-sharp, hooked beaks capable of ripping off massive pieces of flesh, and long, razor-sharp talons on their feet, which may have been used to disembowel their victims. It's also believed that some of the terror birds may have been able to run as fast as modern-day cheetahs. Scientists call them PHORUSRHACIDAE, and they lived in North and South America until about 2 million years ago when they became extinct, luckily just before the arrival of man. The only living relative of the terror bird is the Suriyama, a 35-inch bird that's about as threatening as a butterfly. Well, good work, evolution. Number 4. DEINOSUCHUS, mega-croc. These massive crocodilians walked the Earth about 80 million years ago. Scientifically, they were known as DEINOSUCHUS, which translates to terrible crocodile, and they did live up to their moniker, striking terror into the heart of even the mightiest dinosaurs to ever walk the Earth. In fact, fossil records from T-Rex bones revealed teeth marks from this terribly large ancient crocodile, suggesting that the DEINOSUCHUS was a dinosaur-killing mega-croc. It was a fierce predator, striking unwary dinosaurs and other unsuspecting prey seeking a drink of water at the river edges. Like the present-day crocs, this massive ancient monster was a master at ambushing, and measuring up to 12 meters long and weighing more than 10 tons, you bet this gargantuan predator could take on almost any challenge it faced. Once it had its prey clamped down in its powerful jaws, it performed the classic death roll maneuver, guaranteeing its kill. Number 3. Helicoprion, buzzsaw killer. They don't call it the buzzsaw killer for nothing. There could have been nothing more terrifying to come across the sea than this terrifying ancient shark-like creature with a spiral saw-like jaw. Their deadly whirl sat somewhere in their lower jaw, and you might be quick to think that it operated like a buzzsaw, hence the name. Scientists today believe that the whirl was used to push prey further down its throat. Helicoprion measured about 25 feet long, weighed up to half a ton, and spent its time roaming the world's oceans feasting on squids. Despite its close resemblance and similar behavior to sharks, this prehistoric beastie wasn't a true shark. Scientists have since claimed that they were related to chimeras, cartilaginous fish that separated their lineage from sharks some 400 million years ago. Helicoprion, however, prowled the prehistoric oceans and hunted with the ancient sharks 270 million years ago. There is no denying that this shark-like creature, with its unusual vertical, buzzsaw-like curled teeth, was an apex predator, and its existence alone is proof that the natural world has been home to some terrifyingly strange creatures.
Now it's time for today's best pick.
We have an image sent to us by a subscriber just like you. It shows a fearsome-looking giant sea creature that looks like it's the ultimate killing machine. Let's find out what this creature is. Number 2. JAEKELOPTERUS, gigantic aquatic scorpion. The JAEKELOPTERUS was the largest arthropod to have ever existed. This aquatic scorpion was so large it would have made today's scorpions look like a joke. Measuring 8.5 feet long, this aquatic bug certainly dwarfed us humans, and I can imagine just what it would have looked like taking a swim about 390 million years ago, when the JAEKELOPTERUS still ruled its deep-sea empire. They had a fierce-looking countenance, featuring some really frightening mandibles, spiky pincers, and multiple creepy limbs lining its nasty-looking segmented body. It was truly something of a nightmare. And if that wasn't enough, it's believed that their claws were actually mouth parts, and that they could have been up to 2 feet long. Oh, and the claws were spring-loaded to snatch up everything in their path.
Before we move on, I've got a little challenge for you that'll take 5 seconds to complete. So here's the deal. You just leave a like on this video, smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell, and you will get 25 years of amazing luck. Try it really works.
Number 1. Megalodon, monster shark. The Meg is by far the biggest species of shark to have ever existed. It looks like a beefed up great white cousin from 20 million years ago. Measuring up to 60 feet long and weighing up to 70 tons, it was triple the size of the scary enough great white sharks of today. And there's more. With a bite force of 20 tons, megalodons had possibly the strongest bite of any animal ever. Well, look at it this way. The modern great white shark has a bite of 1 ton and has jaws powerful enough to bite through bones of whales. So imagine how deadly this ancient sea predator's bite would have been. With massive 7-foot-wide jaws containing rows of more than 276 compressed, blade-like teeth that were made for cutting and grasping powerful prey like whales, this undisputed king of the oceans is still one of the most formidable predators that has ever lived. Hey, you made it to the end of the video. If you enjoyed, be sure to smash the like icon and leave a comment. Your engagement is what keeps our curiosity going. We have lots of fantastic videos that you will enjoy. You can start by checking out the 2 already showing up on your screen right now. Keep it 100.